Alrighty. I got a kind of a request for this video from one of my buddies. Toymer Sal, I think his username is also Salman, and he also goes by Extracky. Um, but we're just gonna go ahead. We're gonna look around at the build. Kind of complicated one. I will admit, but he wanted it, so we're just gonna go over it. Um, First things first, I started off with the buttons. The buttons just go into T flip-flops, which just activates them, and then I ended up having to add in signal locks to it so that you couldn't set off two at once. So they would all have two one-way signals, which can be done with two NOT gates or an OR gate, um, which they just sent those one-way signals into the signal locks over here, which is just two NOT gates, and the input is that one, and then this over here, this one is the output, and you put whatever you want to lock it right into right there, and then it'll bring stuff over. But that's not really what we're worried about right now. And we've got this right here, which is working on the digital display. So whenever one of these are on, it will send a signal out to the display with these one-way signals so that it doesn't turn two things on at once or anything like that. Um, and then we also have this, which is it's just another line of one-way signals, which is of course not optimized. It's slower than with OR gates. So if you have a ton of NOT gates, you can do this, but I really would not suggest it. And this just locks the confirm and delete order, and a couple of other things, just to tell it not to do stuff if there's no coin in it. So it basically just locks all of the buttons whenever you don't have a coin in the system. So the way it detects a coin is it will detect the lasers on or the lasers off, and if this is also on. So if both of those are on, then it won't purge the order. But if only the laser is on, or if only the wood detector is on, it will purge the order, and it will like completely. It'll send it out over to here, which is basically the coin return. Which it just if you look at the system over here, actually, um, it um, it'll throw a signal over into here from the lasers. Um, okay, the laser and the wood detector both go into these right here, and they are locked unless only one of them is on. So it locks this entire contraption unless one of them is on, except for this part of the contraption, which actually resets the firework, doesn't do anything with this, opens up the hatch, which will be the confirm order button, and then we just completely reuse this system right over here, which is the remove order or reject coin. So it's very, very simple. And then we also have all this stuff over here, which most of this is just signal checkers, which can actually be made with AND gates instead. I didn't know that at the time. And there are AND gates over here, obviously looking and checking if there are more than two active numbers at one time, and if there are, then it will turn off all the numbers. And we also have this one right here, which checks for which ones are on at the time, and then it'll only check whenever you click the check mark button, confirm order, and it'll send out a signal all the way over to here for B2. I don't have any of the other ones set up yet. And then we also have this one right over here, which if we look at the output for it, it will lock the confirm button, unless at least one of these are on, which tells it you can't confirm unless you have at least 2 buttons on, which will be like A2, B2, C3, stuff like that. And then we also have the coin mechanism here, which it will allow 1 coin through. The hatch is open for like abnormally long, so you can try and get 2 through, but we aren't going to count that. And then also this, it automatically locks itself whenever there's a coin in there. And you are able, see it now, it won't turn off. It won't reject the coin unless it's like a fake coin. Which the only way that we really detect fake coins is because it doesn't actually let the coin in because it's a wood detector instead of a laser. It will only detect gold wood and let it in. So anything other than gold wood is completely denied by the system. And we can just quickly remove this here. Everything just turns off. There are actually no like adverse effects if you just like remove it quickly. But what we're gonna do, we're just gonna throw this right back into here. Alrighty. Now we are actually able to manipulate the buttons, so let's just go ahead and look at this. We turn on all the buttons at once, it detects it, and it's like, alright, that can't be happening, so it takes a signal, and it just sends it into, it sends a signal into, to lock the check, which actually doesn't work all too great, because the system is kind of slow. But it will also turn off all the numbers at once, which is this right here. It'll take the signals from this, and if it is on, then it will be like, alright, get rid of all of those. What we can do is we can turn on B, and we can turn on 2. See, we've got B2 right here, shown on the digital display as well as on these, and it shows the coin is in there right now, and this is a ton of logic on, and then we also have this logic over here on, which tells us, okay, B2 is on, right? So it will always be checking for this, and whenever we actually click the check mark, it will send a signal out to over there. But first, we're going to click on the X, and we're going to see what the system does to reject a coin. Right there. It'll send it right back to the coin, coin return. And then if we just give it a minute, it'll reset its entire system and just get ready for the next coin. Alrighty, and we can also tell it turns off all the buttons whenever you reject your own coin or something of that extent. So, now that everything is on, let's go ahead and let's click on the check mark. Now the check mark is rigged to not go off for a little while to prevent you from like setting it off with all of the buttons activated. But now we can see it's going off, and there are a couple of issues with this. Typically, it could send a gift flying off, or the gift could like not go through all the way. But we can see that this time it actually worked perfectly fine, except for the epileptic seizure. And it sent one gift out, and nothing else had its own issues. So it did work perfectly that time. The system does need a little bit of like shine, a little bit of perfection in it. But this was me testing and figuring out that there was a way to do this without all the extra hassle. So that was fun. That was fun. Because I normally use a signal checker like this, where it will check the signal, see if that's on, and then if the lever is on, then it will send out a signal like that. Now what we can do is just look at where the coin went. It went into here, and it did stack on top of another coin. So if we look here, the laser is off. So if the laser is off, it says the coin storage is full. You can't put another coin in here, and it just completely blocks off the hatch. You can no longer send out a signal into the hatch, which just kind of makes it so that you can't mess up the system, clog it, whatever. Which is just set up with a signal lock right here that goes into the hatch, and this goes into the bottom of the signal lock, which is the input. And you can also use an AND gate and a NOT gate to detect when the signal is the AND gate will lock whenever the signal is off, so you'll typically be using a NOT gate to make it look like whenever the signal is like actually on, it is locked. Um, which is just if you have an extra AND gate and NOT gate, but you're missing the second NOT gate, so you can just use that, and it doesn't really change the speed or anything. But it is a little bit easier to understand how that works. And of course, I'll just show you guys how this works one more time. If you turn on the lever, it will check the signal, and you press the button, it actually does check the signal. Just so that you guys like absolutely understand that if you're watching this. And this is the signal checker. And essentially, this is just a ton of signal checkers. And this is also signal checkers. And so is this. Because that's basically all an AND gate is. And this is just a ton of OR gates for one-way signals. Because I was using, of course, these, and they were getting the system all slow. Which in the full build, which actually is not even like close to done yet, it will be like better. But for right now, this is all we've got. But this is a very, very long video, 11 minutes and 34 seconds so far. And that's like really all that goes into this. It's kind of like signal locks and stuff like that. I didn't really perfect any of my methods before this. Where, of course, you can see I've got a ton of these not gate signal checker or signal one-way signals, and a lot of these not gate signal checkers, and all of this stuff where it does lower the performance of the system. And you can also make it to where it locks the AND gate or the T flip-flop into a specific position, instead of just turning them all off. Which, well, I mean, like, it also turned it off because depending on where you put the signal into this over here, whichever one of these is on, right, it will be the one that is off on the other side, which means that this is the off state because one is not on, and this is the on state. So whenever on has this turned off, it will be locked that way. And whenever this is on, this will have to be turned off, and vice versa. So you can set it up to where you send a signal into off to lock something onto on, or to change it onto on, which is a method I'll be using in my calculator, which is later on. I live stream whenever I work on it. But that's all really for this video. Thanks for watching. If this helped you, I'll put the Discord and some of my other social medias in the description. You can subscribe, like, whatever. And if you need any more help with logic, I am absolutely here to help. I will also leave a link down in the description for the whitelist glitch, which is something that I used a lot in this build, like right here for the hatch or for these displays. They all use the whitelist glitch to get wires inside of them. But that's all. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.